Okay, so remember that time TikTok almost got kicked out of the US?
Oh, yeah.
Is during the Trump administration, everyone was kind of freaking out,
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy time.
especially all those creators who built their whole careers on TikTok.
Yeah, their whole livelihood.
Exactly. And you know what's wild?
What's that?
Some creators, instead of holding on to all their knowledge they'd worked so hard for,
Right.
they started spilling all their TikTok secrets.
Like giving away the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, like editing tricks, growth strategies, all that stuff. And they normally keep super hush-hush.
It seemed pretty counterintuitive.
Right. You'd think they'd want to protect all that, especially if their income was on the line.
Yeah, protect their competitive edge.
So what do you think was going on there? Was it like a digital deathbed confession? Just in case TikTok actually disappeared?
Yeah, maybe a way to preserve their legacy.
Or could there have been some strategy behind it?
It's definitely possible there were a few factors at play.
Okay, so break this down for me like I'm a total TikTok newbie.
All right, well, think about it this way. Every creator is basically fighting for attention.
Right. You want views.
Exactly. And those secrets, they were sharing the editing techniques, the hashtag strategies. That's what helped them stand out from the crowd.
So if they gave that away, wouldn't that be like shooting themselves in the foot?
Potentially, yeah. If everyone starts using the same secret growth hack, it's not really a secret anymore.
And it would work as well.
Exactly. It's like having a killer recipe. If everyone's got it, your cookies aren't so special anymore.
And didn't the TikTok algorithm really favor originality?
No, absolutely. The algorithm loves content that's engaging and unique.
So if a creator suddenly starts looking like everyone else because they shared their secret sauce, they're probably going to lose visibility.
And probably revenue, too.
So maybe some of these creators weren't thinking about the long-term consequences.
It's possible. The whole situation was so urgent they were about to lose their platform, their income.
Right. So they maybe weren't thinking strategically.
Yeah, maybe they figured if TikTok's going down anyway, might as well share everything and go out on top.
But surely there had to be some positives to all this sharing.
Oh, definitely.
Right? Couldn't it be seen as a good thing for the whole TikTok community?
Absolutely. One thing that really stood out was the sense of solidarity and support.
Everyone coming together.
Exactly. Everyone was facing this potential crisis, and they rallied together, offering advice, sharing resources.
That's pretty cool. It shows the strength of the TikTok community.
It really does. A
Yeah.
real sense of camaraderie.
You know what else I was thinking of it? This whole situation could have been a game changer for smaller creators.
How so?
Well, maybe they wouldn't have had access to all those insider tips and tricks otherwise.
That's a really interesting point. It's possible that the shared knowledge actually leveled the playing field a bit.
Right, so up-and-coming creators could use that info to improve their own content.
Exactly. Refine their strategies, grow their platforms.
So even though some of those big creators might have been shooting themselves in the foot, they were also kind of helping the whole ecosystem grow.
Yeah, inadvertently boosting the entire community.
It's a pretty complex situation with all these different angles.
Definitely. With both individual and collective implications.
And it really highlights how quickly things change in social media.
Oh, yeah.
What works today might be totally useless tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So creators really need to be adaptable to keep up.
That's the key.
And for those who shared their secrets,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily a dead end.
not at all.
It's just a challenge to keep innovating and stay ahead of the curve.
To find new ways to stand out.
Because in the TikTok world, standing still is the same as moving backwards.
Couldn't agree more.
So we talk about how this secret sharing thing played out for the creators themselves. But what about the bigger picture?
Right.
This whole situation brings up some pretty interesting questions about knowledge sharing in general.
Oh, absolutely. The TikTok ban kind of created this case study.
A case study?
Yeah, about the tension between personal gain and the collective good.
Okay, explain that to me.
So on one hand, you have creators who busted their butts
Right.
to develop their style, their audience.
A brand.
Exactly. And all that knowledge, those strategies, those are valuable assets.
Makes sense.
And of course, they want to protect that stuff. Their livelihood depends on it.
It's why give away your secret recipe if it means someone else could profit from it?
Exactly. But then you have the other side of the coin,
Okay.
the benefit to the whole community.
Right.
When knowledge is shared openly, it can lead to innovation growth. Everyone benefits.
Like we saw with the smaller TikTok creators.
Exactly. They might have gained some valuable insights they wouldn't have had otherwise.
So then the question is, how do you find that balance? Like, when does protecting your own interests turn into hoarding knowledge that could help other people?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's no easy answer.
Right.
It's a constant back and forth weighing your own goals against the potential for everyone to move forward.
And I bet the context matters a lot, too.
Oh, for sure.
Like with the TikTok ban, it was a crisis situation.
Right.
So people were more willing to share because the stakes were so high.
Exactly. When there's that sense of urgency or like a shared threat,
Yeah.
then collaboration knowledge sharing, it starts to look a lot more appealing.
Because it could be a solution.
Right, a way to deal with the risks.
So the TikTok ban basically forced creators to face this dilemma.
Head on, and it highlighted those consequences.
Both good and bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we said, some creators might have hurt their competitive edge by sharing their secrets.
Right.
But at the same time, that shared knowledge might have brought the community closer together.
And helped the platform grow overall.
Right. Multiple sides to the story.
It makes you wonder if those creators are having second thoughts now that TikTok's still around.
It's definitely possible.
Like maybe they feel like they gave away too much.
Especially if they see other people benefiting from their hard work.
Yeah, it all comes back to that tension between individual gain and collective progress.
It's a tough one to figure out.
And it goes way beyond just TikTok.
Oh, absolutely. It's in every field, every industry.
Even our personal lives.
Exactly. It's about how much we share versus how much we keep to ourselves.
So I guess the takeaway from all this is that there's no one right answer.
Not at all.
It depends on the situation, what the impact might be in like our own personal values.
It's about finding that sweet spot,
Where you can protect your own interests,
but also contribute to something bigger than yourself.
and maybe that sweet spot's different for everyone.
Yeah, the two situations are the same.
But the important thing is to think about the trade-offs.
And make conscious choices about how we share what we know.
That's a great point. And it's a conversation worth having
Definitely.
in our communities, workplaces, even our families.
How do we create a culture of sharing that benefits everyone?
It's a challenge for sure. But the TikTok situation gives us a lot to think about.
Yeah, it showed us both the good and the bad that can come from being open with our knowledge.
And it highlights the importance of adapting, which is actually something we're going to dive into deeper in the next part. Adaptability, that's what you said. And that's super important, I think.
Yeah, especially for those creators who like spilled the beans
Right.
when TikTok was almost banned.
Even if they're regretting it now,
Yeah.
they can't just go back to how things were.
Nope, the game's changed.
So what do they do now? How do they stay ahead when everyone knows their secrets?
Well, it's a whole new way of thinking.
Yeah.
Instead of just relying on those few secret tactics,
Right.
they got to keep learning, keep experimenting.
Like always be on the lookout for new stuff.
Exactly. Stay curious, try new things, constantly tweak their approach.
So sharing their secrets kind of forced them to step it up.
Yeah, in a way,
They can't just coast anymore. They got to keep innovating.
if they want to stay relevant.
It's like they traded short-term security for long-term growth.
Interesting way to put it.
They might have lost a little bit of their edge,
Yeah.
but now they're pushing themselves to evolve.
In ways they might not have before.
And that's a lesson for anyone, not just TikTokers.
Oh, for sure.
If you're in a field that's constantly changing, you got to be able to adapt, learn new skills,
Yeah.
pivot when you need to.
Couldn't agree more.
It makes me think about like our own lives.
How so?
The world's changing so fast. New tech, new information all the time.
Definitely can be overwhelming.
But if we can see that change as an opportunity, it can be pretty empowering.
Absolutely.
So instead of like clinging to old ways or trying to hoard knowledge,
Right.
we should be looking for new info, challenging what we think we know, experimenting,
And being open to learning from other people.
even our competitors.
Yeah, even that.
Because the TikTok thing showed us that collaboration, it can actually benefit everyone.
Sometimes in unexpected ways.
It's like a reminder that we don't have to do everything ourselves.
Right. We can learn from each other.
Help each other out, especially when things are changing so much.
Support each other.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. We're facing some big challenges in the world.
And we need all the help we can get.
All the brain power, all the creativity.
So maybe this whole TikTok secret sharing thing wasn't just about dance moves and going viral.
Maybe it was about something bigger.
Yeah, like a lesson in adaptability
Collaboration.
and how sharing what we know can help us deal with an uncertain future.
Beautifully said.
Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive.
It does.
You've given us so much to think about,
My pleasure.
from the choices those creators made to the whole idea of knowledge sharing in a world that never stops changing.
Glad you found it insightful.
And to our listener, we hope this deep dive gave you some food for thought. Maybe even inspired you to rethink how you learn, how you share, how you adapt.
In a world that's always in motion.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Until next time.